Okay, Otter and Fish Kit, we are on assembly. So, I got all my pieces here. You're gonna start with the nose. So in the baggie, got a little safety nose. And we need the headpiece for this. Okay, so it wants the nose between rounds 9 and 10. So, and centered here in the middle of the face. So this is 1 here. This is center circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this is 10. Another way to find that is 8 is where we made our first color change. So this is 8, this is 9, this is 10. So we want it centered in between this row and this row. And that looks like it wants to be about right here. So I'm going to first try to get a finger in here so that I can stop the back as it comes through. And then stop that. And then press this through. Through there. Okay, now arrange that so that it's facing the right way, which doubling checking. Oh, well that's kind of crooked. Why is its nose winking? All right, well I think that's silly. I'm gonna put it straight across. You can put it slightly crooked if you like. I don't want to do that. So now we apply the back, and it goes on like the post is sticking down this way. It goes on this direction. I don't know why I'm showing you this way, because that's a silly way to do it, especially since I'm just gonna have to. Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep that lined up. I'm gonna press the nose and sort of pinch the other side with this thumb is pinching, and just bring it down to where I can reach it without grabbing any of the threads from back here. And then put this on, goes on like that. I'm gonna make sure I'm not catching any of my pieces there, so then press that one. It should click at least once. Okay. Okay, cute. Stuff head with Fiberfill. So it wants us to stuff now and then do some eyes. I don't love that because then you have to deal with the stuffing when you're doing the eyes, and I'm considering doing them now. I'm gonna think on that for a second. Okay, so I don't want to stuff it first and then do the eyes because it's annoying. You catch bits of the fluff. I'm just gonna do the eyes. So it wants a back stitch eye on each side, but in round 9, which is this round here, and then a line down from nose and mouth. Okay, so it actually hasn't even said to make the mouth yet, but you know, whatever, we'll figure it out. So I'm just gonna come in. Let's see, these look like they're slightly diagonal. Also, I will most likely be changing the eyes myself later because I don't want it to be sleeping. Just because. So it looks like they come in kind of from the top of the row down toward the middle of the row. So we'll come in right around here, I guess. So this is about 2 white stitches over. And we're gonna come down, I guess, right here. And I know it says back stitch, but I don't really understand why it specifically has to be a back stitch, because that I don't think is a back stitch, and it's fine. So we're just gonna do that again. So this time I'm gonna come out, I'm gonna do the lower end first, right about there. Well, I guess that's on one side of that, isn't it? Okay, so we'll come out right, try to come out right here. Even though this has a little bit more gray on this side, we'll try to keep it symmetrical that way. And then we're gonna go over basically 1.5, go in, and see how that looks. Looks like a little sleepy guy, I guess. And then the mouth, it says use a back stitch to stitch line down from nose and mouth. We don't have a mouth yet. So this looks like 2 loops. They might just, though, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try, I wonder if this shorter tail will do it. Probably not. I'm gonna try coming out on one side. So that looks to be about 3-ish rows into the white. That side looks higher. I guess it's 2. It's like about 2 rows. Stop that. Well, 1 row down from this row of white. Okay, so just muttering to myself a lot right now. I'm gonna come out here. So basically kind of 2.5 or so stitches over from the nose, and then I'm gonna come over this way, and I'm gonna go in at the same spot, kind of, or a similar spot. So I'm thinking right about here. Come in right about here. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna tighten this all the way. And I'm going to come out sort of center under the nose. It doesn't want to let me do kind of exactly center for some reason. But I would like to be coming out right in the middle of this area that I'm working. Good. Move. Stop being mean to me. All right, maybe we give up. That's close enough. I'm gonna come out here, and I'm gonna basically loop around this and go right back in, and I'm still not fully tightening down. And then, don't tighten down. I'm gonna, this looks like a mustache. Okay. I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna come out on kind of each side here and here and do the same thing to those pieces. So I'm gonna come out, try to come out right here, because it looks like they're pretty close together there. So we want this to kind of be like this. So I'll come out like here on this side of the yarn and go right back in. Well, get back here. Go right back in. And I'm being careful not to catch any threads or anything on the inside as I'm doing this, just like watching my needle and whatever. Okay. And now I'm going to do the same thing for this one. So I'm going to come out right about here. And go right back in. The same spot, or as near as I can get it. Okay. So now I'm going to tighten this up. So I'm going to take my needle off my hook for now. I started over here, so I'm going to go over here, tighten this, tighten that, and then from there I went up here, so I'm going to pull that to tighten that down, and then this side, and then this one is our last. No, pull the other side. Okay. So there is a mouth. Okay, so I tightened it all down again in the same order that I just tightened it. And I think that looks okay. I'm contemplating adding a little bit more thickness to the eyes. But then again, since I'm probably taking them out, or changing them at the very least, maybe I won't. But just to see what it looks like, I'm gonna just come add another line to them and see how they look. I'm holding all my other tails and things so that they don't get in the way. Just going right back over the same line. I think that's kind of cute, I guess. I don't know. I think it's a little weird, honestly, that he's sleeping. So I don't love that, but this is my least favorite part in general. Especially faces, they're difficult. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad to me. That looks okay. So I am not gonna tie these off right now because, like I said, I might change them. But you should basically get as close to, you know, the ends of these as you can and tie a knot into this to secure it. It doesn't have to be like super tight. You don't want to tighten up the eye too much or the mouth or any one area, but just like double knot and then trim. And then just put those ends back up in there. I'm just going to trim and put the ends in there and move on. So I would basically just tie this twice like this, tie again, and then put them in there. So now, pretending that I have tied these properly, I'm going to I guess technically if I really wanted to change them I could do it now, but I'm going to stuff the head. So I'm going to get out a good amount of fluff and then fluff it up some. And just start shoving it down in here. You could use the back of your hook if you wanted. The opening I think is just big enough that I can get... I should have put the ears on before I put the stuffing in here, but the stuffing will actually help a little with the ears for us seeing where things want to go. Okay. I think it needs a bit more stuffing. And then we will sew the ears on. Ears are usually the one that I have to move. Is that a mosquito? That is a gnat. That I usually have to move the most. Do some shaping. I personally think this could go for a little bit more fluff. Just a little more. Yeah. Not that you really need a tutorial in this part. I probably won't show any more of the stuffing. Okay. That seems pretty good. Okay. So, ears. So ear 1 and ear 2, I want them positioned between rounds 4 and 5. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3. This is 4 here, so this is 5. And I imagine they are, oh, they're very far off to the side. Okay, so they're kind of over this last portion of white, I guess. So okay. So I'm going to just insert under here. I'm just sort of over to the side where I'll be above this little white area. It might even be start further back than that, actually. It's hard to tell, but if it looks kind of more like the front is lined up with where the white starts. So I'm going to move a little farther back. I'm basically always wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4. About ears. So let's try back here. And then they're angled kind of. You know what? Let's do this. We're going to start in 5 and angle up to 4. That's my final, for right now, answer. Totally confident about this. Okay, so angling up to 4. Okay, so I'm just gonna, now that I've got that through the body, I'm just gonna pass it through to catch that down, and then I'm just going to basically catch some of the bottom here, some of the work, and then come up and then come back through that way, through both sides of the ear, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Okay, so we want this part to be, so I've angled up to 4, and I'm going to catch some of that stitch in 4 for kind of this corner, and then through both sides. Tighten that down. And then we're basically just gonna do the same thing again on the way back, just to make sure it's really attached there. And in typical non-committal fashion, I am not going to sew this down because I might have to move it, or tie it down, I mean. Okay, so that's ear 1. 100% this looks like a dog ear, and I already am like, did I mess up? It looks angled, and it says between 4 and 5. Do otters, what do otter ears, do otters even have ears? Some things have like flat ears, like seals, you know? Are otters like seals? Okay. Well, so here we are. We're going to move back some. It looks like we basically are sort of 2 stitches back. 2.5. So 1. And then we're on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think we basically want to start right here. Bring that ear this way. Right, I'm gonna finish this and then come back because I don't need to record both ears. Okay, so I'm trying to decide if I like need to move the ears. So here's hat. You know, it looks like they roll the rim of this hat. I'll have to deal with. Okay. I think that they do. Yeah, they do. Okay, so do we need to move the ears? I think technically they're in the right place. We're going to leave them for now, but we're also not going to tie them down. This also looks so much like a dog to me, like a bulldog or something. Also, I feel like a little bit like a koala. So moving on. All right, so stuff body with fiberfill, center belly. Okay, so the next thing is to sew on the belly. So I'm going to stuff the body, get the belly, and I'll be back. Okay, so I stuffed this pretty firmly. I have this much stuffing left, and I don't think that we're stuffing anything else. So just kind of maybe an idea of how much I used. The head could maybe use a little more, but I don't know. So the belly is going to be sewed on between around 12 and 19. And looking at the box, I'm thinking that's right around here, because I'm sort of thinking that, you know, body goes like this. Head goes up here. Belly goes down there. So, we'll count real fast. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So, right about here. So I'm gonna weave this end in real fast actually, and then come back and sew the body on, or the belly on. Okay, so I'm kind of just trying to center this. And I think that that is pretty good. Like, seems good to me. So I'm gonna get this sewed on. And let's see, we'll start going this way. So all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna slip under the stitch there and just grab a little bit of stitch from the body and come back up in the stitch, and then I'm gonna go down into the next, grab a little bit of the stitch below there, and I'm coming back up from underneath the same stitch, and I'm just gonna do this around. Trying to keep this from moving around and trying to keep it centered. But yeah, same thing that I'm doing now, I plan to just do all the way around. I'm sure there's other ways that you could do this as well, but I do like keeping the edge there, and I think it's nice. So I will finish this out and then come back. Okay, so here is what the belly looks like sewed on. I think that's pretty decent. So I'm just gonna tie this end down now and weave it in, and kind of just sends it into the body. So I'm just gonna grab some of these threads under here so that the knot will be pulled under the inside, and just thread through there, pull that tight, and then I'm just gonna run that end in through the body, and I'm gonna trim it. I'm gonna pull it a little and cut it, and then the end will snap back in. So there is the belly sewed onto the body. So belly sewed on in what we think is the proper place. Next is sewing on the head. I suppose I should decide about the ears, but I'm really not ready to commit yet. So it says, with head facing forward, position and sew head to body, beginning with round 7 of head, sewing around neck opening. So I kind of assumed, even though I couldn't really make it make sense with the picture on the box, that you sew the head to the neck like this, because that's how you normally do these types of things. But round 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is here, which would put this more like this, which does, I think, make a little more sense with what we're seeing on the box, because he's laying down. So I'm still not sure about this in general, but if he's gonna lay like this and then, you know, have his legs and his tail, like, I guess we'll just do what they say and see what happens. So I'm going to use the neck tail for this as soon as I find my needle. Okay, found my needle. So I'm going to thread this on. And I think that this guy lays kind of here on his stomach. Like that's the resting point. Because it looks like, you can't quite see it, but it looks like his chest comes up where that belly is. And that he'll be kind of like this. Of a sort. So let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. That's where we kind of want the top of this to be. So it looks like on this end, we're kind of right here with this, kind of the second to last row. And let's see. All right, so we'll start sewing this to the second to last row here for these first couple stitches, and just kind of, I'm trying to line them up. I'm not great at this part. I think he's lined up okay. So I'm just going to, I think I'm going to mattress stitch. So I'm going to go up, in, over. I didn't want to go quite that far, but that's as far as it wants me to go. So we're just going to do that. And then I've already decided that mattress stitch is a bad idea. We're just going to whip stitch. Not that it really matters. Hey, don't fall down. Good, it didn't. Now I gotta line everything up again. Okay. So we said second to last row. And then that looks okay. Okay. He might be kind of crooked. I don't know. So we are just going to, no, stay where I put you. Okay. We are just going to come in and like grab and come through and grab. Okay. We're just kind of doing in circular motions. I would like to catch kind of both loops of that if I can, just because I feel like in my head that makes it more secure. But I don't think we're going to be able to do that all the way around. So I'm going in from the top, and then on my way down I'm just catching the top of that stitch. Let's do a quick check. I actually think that is lined up okay. So now we'll do a bit of a turn, and let's see, I'll grab, say, here. That doesn't seem like a great place. Although it seems like the only, right here, we'll grab right there. Trying to find a way to hold this that it lets me keep doing this. I'm gonna try right in there. So I'm just gonna keep basically doing this all the way around, and I'm probably going to be stopping and checking a lot to make sure that I'm not getting off with the angle and everything. I think we're doing okay. And let's check this real fast. So we're going to count down again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like we'll be lined up in the right place. We maybe could have gone one more down. Let's see. We maybe could have gone one more down. I think either the second or third round from the bottom here is fine to start from. So just gonna keep going around all the way around this guy. So I'm going to finish that around and be back. Okay, so I'm coming around, and to me, this is looking like he's leaning a little. I know I've already sewed this side, so it's going to be pulling him. But I'm just going to be, I'm going to try to hold him in place here. So like this area can be a little tricky when you're transitioning from, basically if I just kept going the way that I'm holding it, I could basically be nudging him this way and then sew too far over this side, and he would end up being kind of crooked like this versus more over this way. So when I get to this side, I'm really going to try to pay attention and pull him a little this way and purposely place my stitches a little further over than I would maybe think initially, like to sort of pull him back to the way that I wanted to go. So let's see, a little bit more maybe. So I'm gonna come up here. Now I would normally want to go in like here maybe or here, but I'm gonna go in up here for this one. And then come through here. And kind of go up that high again. Because I have more than once gotten toward the end and realized that I did the other second half basically crooked. So he is less lean to the side now. Although he still kind of looks like he's got his head cocked like a dog. And so I'm going to do a tiny bit of a twist, maybe like this. And maybe we'll go back into the same spot. Hey, don't do that to me. Anyways, and come out in the next one perhaps. See what that does for us. Yeah. So I feel like that's pretty okay. Of course, it's always later that I'm like, it's not until I get the head on the body that I have any concept of if the ears are okay. Stop doing that. And then I'm always like, how did I get these ears so completely wrong? And usually it's not until I start putting limbs on that I realize the head to the body is like just kind of crazy. But tighten that up. Okay. I do feel like that's not bad. Maybe a little bit crooked, but I think that's not bad. So, we're gonna go ahead and fasten off the head because we're just gonna, even if his head is a little sideways, it's not like otters go around with their heads perfectly straight all the time. That would be weird. So I'm just gonna tie that off. And then I'll weave this under a few stitches around here. And then I'm just gonna disappear this into the body. Where'd I put my scissors? I'm gonna pull on this, trim it, Now I know why we have a tail for this one, because I was reading ahead. It's for the fish, I think. And the ears, I'm going to go ahead and say we're good on the ears. I'm going to fasten these off as well, just like I did the last thing. Tie, do a little weave, and then run them through the head. And then I will be back. Okay, so what I did was I sewed the tail on as a leg. To be fair, they're the same shape, it's just bigger. So we'll have to redo that one. But here's my other side. I think that that's okay. I might want to move this arm because it's maybe a little further back. Maybe I'll leave it. But so I'll take out the part of sewing this one on the first time because I thought about just leaving it because the technique is like the same, but the size won't be the same, so it won't be proportioned the same. So first I'm going to take the tail and pass it through here to the back. And then we're going to take this to about, it's rows 5 to 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about here. Now, I want to make sure they're lined up. This is always hard. Sometimes I'll like stick something through to try to make sure I have it on the same level. A lot of times I just do it by eye. And, you know, this looks okay to me right now. Maybe a little further back. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna start here in row 5, and we're just gonna come in and come up and out like that, and then we're gonna come straight across to the work and go in and up and out, straight across back, in, up, out. And I'm gonna keep doing that around. We're not gonna do all the way like the full length where the toe is. We're just kind of gonna do this main part. So let's see. Take a look, see how we're, that looks okay. I don't know. We're gonna kind of go across now. So I'm gonna go in and this way, come out. And now I'm just kind of gonna continue what I was doing, but back this way. Across, in, down. Okay, so what do we think? I do think ultimately my head is a little crooked, but I think we're doing okay other than that. For reference, tail, leg, tail, not a leg. Okay. So, I think not bad. I did these two. Now I could, I think if I wanted it to be more symmetrical, I would move this back one. So I might move this back one and come back. Onward we go. We shall continue. So we're going to put these right about there, I guess. This is, I'm going to start technically with row. What row is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Whatever. We're just going to do it. Maybe I'm missing something obvious. Okay, so same thing. I'm just going to do a couple of kind of mattress stitch to just get this in place. And then we'll take a look at how we're shaping up and see if this makes any sense at all. Maybe I'll decide that none of this is right. Take all of this out and you'll never see any of this. The world may never know. I'm going to skip across now. So I only put a couple in there, and I'm going to come in and just come down to like here. And now just sort of tack down the other side with a couple of stitches. Okay. Technically, I don't think we're doing this wrong, but this just doesn't seem right. Okay, so I've moved that one back a little, and we're doing okay. I'm trying to see now. Hold still. Hold still. Now it looks like maybe this one's a bit high, or maybe that's just how it's curling. So I think for now, we're going to move on. And eventually, I'm going to have to weave all these ends in and commit to these. Not right this second. So, position tail on center back of body, with top of tail beginning at round 5. Stitch to body. Okay. We're going to again face the question of which side is which. But I can see that end there, and that's the little end. So we don't really have to deal with that question that much, as the little end goes over there. I kind of think that maybe that just wants to curl. Top of tail, round 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like that, basically. Like that. Yeah, like that. All right, let's get this needle threaded on. The manner in which I sew this on will be the same as both the legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About there. Looks good. So I'm going to just in, over. I don't really want to be catching fluff from inside, so I'm going to go back over that and then try to stuff that in there. Okay. And then up, in, and over, down. Just stitching our way along. Like this. And what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to continue doing that, and I'm going to work this way and then across down here and then back up the other side. So then I'll be back after that. Oh, this is what the tail looks like, by the way, sewed on. I think that that looks pretty much like it's supposed to. Okay, so I did feel like this leg needed to be a little further down, so I took this tail and came through and just pulled it down a little. The tail was back here. I just ran it through the body, came out about here, pulled this down a little and just lowered it a little bit because laying him down, this side was kind of resting and this side was not, and it's still not quite, but I think that that's better. So all in all, I think not bad, and I'm going to now weave in, tie off and weave in all of these ends except for the one under the chin, and be back. Okay, so I've woven in the ends. I'm about to do the fish, but looking at this, it really looks to me like, first of all, I kind of wish my eye was higher, like up another, but it really looks to me like this is pinched and sewn, because this does not look 7 stitches wide. It doesn't say to do that anywhere, but it looks like to me that they just pinch that a little. So I might do that just to see what it does. Well, I think I shall. So I'm just going to take some of that pink and I'll use this end. Real quick, I'm just gonna go in here across to the other end and then go back and not through the same hole but through one nearby and just right back up and come out not through the same hole on this end, but again just next to, and just tighten a little. There we go, so that it does both ways. And then I really do wish that eye was moved, and if I cared more, maybe I would move it. But I'm just gonna tie these two together. And this will be easy to undo if I don't like it. I can just cut this section of thread. Just tie that. I'm gonna tie again. And then here is my little guy. And the fish goes up under here. I think that's like light years better. And so we're gonna leave it. So I did this. You don't have to. So now I'm just going to trim this and just weave these ends in through to the fish body and trim them trim them again. It's just, should I throw both on here? Let's just throw both on here. What difference does it make? So I'm going to trim these, and we're going to do that with our fish because it just makes it work better, I think. So now It wants us to whip stitch the fish between the legs here, just kind of up under there like that. All right, so I'm going to now sew this little fish on. Now, it looks like it's kind of laying sort of sideways-ish, kind of. Maybe like that, I don't know. They look like they have it more sort of on its side, but where my eye is positioned, I kind of don't want to do it quite that way. So I think I'm going to go for it to look kind of like this. So it looks to me like their fish is kind of laying on its side a little, but I'm going to go with a viscerally concept, you know, kind of like that, because I think that's how it looks nice, is kind of like this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to center this here like this. Yeah, I think that's cute. And then I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna do real quick a little bit of a mattress stitch. So I'm gonna go in, over, and come out if I can get it to come in between the stitch the way I want it to, like that, and then up, and you go this way, up and over one, and then do that again. So I'm going to just go in, I'm going over just one stitch, so going in and over one, and this time I'm going to go in and then just go, let me get that out of the way. So I'm just going to go in and then just come towards the back and come out towards the back of the neck. So I have that kind of set there. And now I'm going to sew this section back here along here. So I'm basically going to be doing this portion along here and this portion. So I'm going to move this over to start further to the side. And I'm going to go up, in and over, like so. Come straight down, in and over, up and over. Same thing back down here. And this will be, I think, the last one. And then back in. And I'll just bring this, say, down here to get that end in. Okay, and we'll say, how do we think that looks? Stop sliding around. Okay. I think pretty okay. And the fish can kind of lay a little. And we're not quite touching on this side with that foot. We are with this foot. I guess I could take that off and redo it if I really wanted to, but I think it's okay. We got his little paws up on the fish. And I think that is decently well attached. I could sew it on more, but I don't think I'm going to. So now, and I might end up removing the fish because somebody that I know might want this and they might not want the fish on. So what I would do now is I would just go under a stitch and then go through that loop that you created to tie it, and you know, then weave that in. But for now, I'm just gonna run it into the body. And run it out like down here where I'll leave a little loop where I can pull this out later if I want. Because I might take that off, which I don't normally do things like this, but someone I know has already said that they might want it, but they might want it to be a little different. So, moving along. We've got the fish one. And now it says place front legs on top of fish as if being held. And my front legs are up on that little fish. Then we are putting the hat on. We already attached the pom-pom to the top of the hat. And then we're placing the hat over the ear and stitching in place. So hat like this, and they've got it kind of curved down and out. Now I'm going to thread this, and then since I rolled this edge, because that looks rolled, I'm gonna basically take this and just pass it through to like here where I'll be sewing, not around there, where I'll be sewing that on. And then, oh, that's my other end, because I hadn't rolled it down when I'll just trim that closer and it'll be fine. Go away, please, thank you. Okay. So here we go. So over the ear, and we're just gonna do the same stitch, mattress stitch that we've been doing. So I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna do my best to kind of make these be somewhat hidden when they go into the body. So I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna work, it's really this first row of the darker color pink that I'm working into. And that's why I'm going into the stitches kind of under the brim so that they won't show, and the lines going up won't show. So now I'll catch this part here. Because if I worked into down here, that would show like that. So we're working into this line that part of the hat covers of stitches, and then into the very first row of dark pink there. So we're just going to continue around just like this all the way around the hat. So I'm going to keep going and I'll come back when I'm done. Okay, here we are back around to the front, and I'm just gonna take a look here. And we got a little otter, a little fish, a little hat. If I was really being fussy, I would lower this leg and maybe bring this arm a little forward, but I don't know. I kind of like it there on the tail, but I would lower that leg if I was being finicky, but I don't really care that much. I think it looks okay. And so we're gonna come under here. We're just gonna catch something and tie this off. Tighten that down. And then weave this in a little. This yarn is still kind of slippery to me. It's strange. And then I think just kind of gonna run it up into the hat, I guess. And trim this off. And give that a little fold to the side. And yeah. So here we are. Here is Otter. I think it's okay. The fish definitely gave me some trouble. And I did find the placement for this one to be a little, just because it was unusual to what I've done before. So it was a little confusing. But here he is. Front, other side, tail. There's the box. I kind of think we did pretty good. So that's the end of this one. Next up is the dog. So I will hopefully be starting that very soon, tomorrow, hopefully. The only other thing is, a lot of people have asked for the fall gnome patch, and somebody's asked for a fall fox. I forget the fox's name. I just know it's not the one that I can find online. I can't find them. So, let me know if you have them, and if you really want me to do a tutorial and are able to figure out a way to just like send a scan of just the pattern. I can use my own yarn to do a tutorial. I just need the information from the pattern. So anyway, here's this little guy. I think that actually he turned out pretty cute. So hope this helps. And you know, onward to the dog.